you see, you might be interested in reading Jung's works on active imagination, because he kind of learned to dream when he was awake. And he spent a lot of time in the world of imagination when he was awake. The Red Books, for example. The Red Book is a document of his experiences with awake dreaming. But he was very interactive with the dream, you know, instead of trying to bend it to his whim or his will. He was exploring it in some sense like you'd explore a video game, you know, which are forms of dreams in and of themselves. So, yeah, I would say do it with an exploratory purpose in mind. And you could always ask yourself what you could learn too, which is a very dangerous question to ask a dream, because sometimes you'll find out what you have to learn. That's not so pleasant, but it's really worthwhile.
There was a saying in medieval alchemy, in sterquiliniis, invenitur, which roughly translates to, in filth it will be found. Later, Carl Jung explains this saying as follows: that which we most desire to find in our lives may be found in the places we least want to explore. Those places can be found in our external lives, in the malevolence of the world we live in, or internally, in the shadowy depths of the unconscious. Active imagination is a conscious method of experimentation and exploration of the unconscious mind. It employs creative imagination as an organ for perceiving outside your own mental boxes, viewing the contents, personalities, creatures, and environments of your unconscious mind. It's kind of like a lucid dream, but you're much more awake. Its purpose is to dig deep into your unconscious or the shadow, where there's danger, deeply profound internal realizations, inventions, art, music, ideas, and according to many Jungian analysts, even potential to help predict the future, oftentimes through understanding the past. Or even directly predict the future, the way Tesla, Jung, Nietzsche, Abraham Lincoln, and many others have purportedly been able to do. Here's a few examples, mostly on the dream side of things. But keep in mind, active imagination is basically a waking dream observed and interacted with by the conscious mind. Let's start with Einstein and Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla had a strange power to perform unusual feats in mathematics. He possessed the ability to see visions from early boyhood. He needed no model to test his inventions. They appeared before his eyes as functioning realities that he could stop and start as though they were really there. He said, "During my boyhood, I had suffered from a peculiar affliction due to the appearance of images, which were often accompanied by strong flashes of light. When a word was spoken, the image of the object designated would present itself so vividly to my vision that I could not tell whether what I saw was real or not. By that faculty of visualizing, which I learned in my boyish efforts to rid myself of annoying images, I have evolved what is, I believe, a new method of materializing inventive ideas and conceptions. It is a method which may be of great usefulness to any imaginative man, whether he is an inventor, businessman, or artist." We'll cover his method, which he lays out in great detail, soon. But first, Albert Einstein's theory of relativity changed the world of physics, and it all came from a dream. He dreamed that he was sledding down a mountain, ever increasing speed until he nearly reached the speed of light. He noticed the stars looked different, and the observation ultimately led him to the mathematics of the famous formula E equals mc squared. Google, our largest search engine, was revealed to Larry Page in a dream. He was struck by the vision in the middle of the night, in which he had managed to download the entire web onto computers and just keep the links. The Beatles' song, Yesterday, came to Paul McCartney in a dream. He woke up with the music in his head and wrote it out. Abraham Lincoln dreamt of his own assassination just a few days before he was killed. Genius mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan published over 3,000 theorems. He said the Hindu goddess Namakjiri would appear in his dreams to give him new formulas, sometimes written on a screen of blood. The discovery of DNA structure came in a dream where Dr. James Watson dreamt of two snakes intertwined with heads at the opposite ends, which he realized was the double helix. Beethoven was a prolific dreamer. hearing many of his piano sonatas in his dreams and writing them out afterwards. The world's first female self-made millionaire, Madame C.J. Walker, made her fortune in the early 20th century cosmetics industry. A black man appeared to her in a dream and told her the mixture which would help her falling out hair grow back in. It worked, and she enjoyed a lengthy career selling her cosmetics. Global best-selling novelist Stephen King had many ideas come to him through dreams, including the books Misery and It. He said, "I've always used dreams the way you'd use mirrors to look at something you couldn't see head on." While searching for the cause of diabetes, Banting had a dream telling him to surgically tie up the pancreas of a diabetic dog to stop the flow of nourishment. He did, and discovered a disproportionate balance between sugar and insulin. This breakthrough led to another dream that revealed how to develop insulin as a drug to treat the condition. Since then, insulin has saved or transformed the lives of millions of people. Active imagination works by encouraging the conscious and unconscious mind to communicate through making our conscious attention explore down into the unconscious mind. Carl Jung said, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." It does this by focusing our conscious minds on the expressions of our unconscious minds, our dreams. Here's how an ancient Israelite seer received oracles and visions using a similar method to both Nikola Tesla's vision building method and Carl Jung's active imagination. The seer Habakkuk from the Old Testament speaks of receiving the oracle, the burden of a vision from the archetypal Father and God of gods, Yahweh. In chapter 2, he says, "I will watch to see what he will say to me, and how I should answer when corrected. Then the Lord answered me, write down this vision and clearly inscribe it on tablets, so that a herald may run with it. For the vision awaits an appointed time. It testifies of the end and does not lie. Though it lingers, wait for it, since it will surely come and will not delay." This passage teaches patient searching and relates to steps 1 through 4 of the following process, which we'll soon cover in full depth. These are Carl Jung's 2 rules of active imagination. Rule number 1. When you clear your mind and make an empty space, a blank space, you must say to yourself, "I'm going to allow and observe whatever comes." That's the preparation. You prepare yourself to receive without judgment. Because once you start judging and editing, you start second guessing, and eventually you destroy the entire thing. Rule number 2. If it moves, follow it. If it moves, follow it. When something moves or speaks or does something autonomously, that's where the subliminal life displays itself, and where it goes, you must also go. If a leaf moves, follow it. If a lion appears and sits at your feet, follow its every move. If somebody speaks, watch and listen and follow the words flowing from their mouth. It's alive, and that's the time to engage, because that's where the psyche is beginning to show its subliminal contents. When the autonomous psyche presents itself, it'll probably surprise you. So wherever something acts or moves and you're surprised, follow it, and whatever comes, receive it. If it moves, follow it, and even speak with characters that present themselves. Do this for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. After a 20 to 30 minute stretch, stop and write down what happened. On the following day, do it again, picking up where you stopped the previous day. It can be hard to get back to where you were, but be patient and it will come. If you can do this for a few days regularly and with discipline, stick with it. You may be surprised at what you find.